compared to a lot of other condiments, is so low in calories and really good for you. And I use salsa myself, and I'll switch up what kinds I use, whether it's hot, mild. I probably have 4 jars of salsa at home right now in my pantry, just so I can mix things up and I can have something a little bit different each time. Some of them may have black beans in them. There's a salsa I like that has black. You get the idea though. Yeah. And they're anywhere from 15 to 30 calories a serving, and that would be a serving of salsa that you just put on there, a tablespoon. And so right there, you're really adding no calories, but just so much flavor for what you get in return for the few calories.
Well, and so what we've got is for our breakfast. This is just breakfast. It's taken us less than 15 minutes. We're going to have lots of flavor. Put my sausage patties on there. We're going to have lots and lots of flavor. We're going to pause our burner. Now I want to show you something. Not hot. That's right, the burner is not hot. Now where the pan is, it's hot because it's conducting heat between it. So I'm going to come around the corner over here and I'm going to show you this on a close-up scale and let Brian tell you about how he eats here in a second while I clean my pan. But that, folks, is breakfast. And I mean, that's a huge amount of food, but it's only 240 calories, your whole breakfast. And it tastes fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Uh-oh, what do we have? Breakfast cam, breakfast cam, breakfast cam. But breakfast is served, and it is good for you. So I will let Brian tell you how he prepares his meals, because he does it differently than I do.
So when I fix eggs during the week, now you have to understand something. Now I know JP does this as well now, getting up early, but I get up at 3:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. And getting up at 3:30 in the morning, you don't always like fixing breakfast at that time of morning. You're tired. I wake up, I'm tired. I need to have my coffee. The reason I get up so early is I get up and I walk my dogs. Why? That gets my day started physically, and then when I get home, I want a breakfast, but I want to just be able to play with my dogs a little bit and get ready in the morning. So I'll do the same type of breakfast, but I'll prepare a bunch ahead of time. So I'll literally, what he just made, I would do with a dozen eggs. So I would have my dozen eggs that are right here, and instead of doing just 2 eggs, I would take 1 or 2 bell peppers. I would take 1 whole onion. I would take a whole container of mushrooms, and I actually prefer, my favorite mushroom is called a cremini mushroom. It has a little more meat to it. It's the brown mushroom, baby portobellos. But I'll take all that and I'll cook a bunch up ahead of time. And I got containers that are single serving size containers. And I know how, if you think about it, if you cook 12 eggs, that means you've made 6 servings of eggs. So it's really easy to break them up into containers because you know you have to fill up 6 different containers. So I do that. I put them in the refrigerator. My wife and I have them ready to go in the morning, and it's really easy for us to do that and get ready without having to cook. I do that every weekend. Sunday is my cooking day. I actually love to grill also. So you'll see me. It doesn't matter if it's cold, like today's a little cold and rainy. I'll still be out because I have a covered patio. I'll be out and I'll grill outside even on a cold day because I like the taste that fire gives to my food. So anyway, again, that's how you have to find out how you want to do things. But there's John enjoying his food now.
Unbelievably tasty.
And think about how that's going to make you feel later. How many times do you get up for breakfast now? Now, JP, in the past, I was the type of guy when I was, nearly 500 pounds. I really liked, I would have stuff like pancakes, or I would have donuts, or, it was quick, it was easy. But how did you feel after? You talk about being tired. You would have a spike in your blood sugar, so all of a sudden you would have a lot of energy, and then all of a sudden you crash. And then in the middle of the day, you're going, why don't I have any energy? I had breakfast, I should have it. It's because of the types of food you're eating. When you have food like this, you're not going to have a spike in energy and then a crash. Your stomach actually has to go through a lot more trouble digesting this compared to digesting a bunch of carbohydrates and sugar.
Well, and so what you just saw was very, very high in protein, very low in carbohydrates. It has to be super low in sugar because there was no sugar involved, pardon me. But a lot of food, and then you're full. At least I'm stuffed. So what do I do for lunch? So that was 240 calories is what we just ate for breakfast. So let's move on to lunch. Again, I'm going to spray my pan with Pam. And just to give you, and again, just coating it. I'm not doing anything crazy. Just to give you an idea, it was 2 eggs, Eggland's Best. I used the cage-free with all kinds of vitamins, and it's got vitamin D, interestingly enough, B12 and E, also a good source of B2 and B5, and your omega-3s. The key is only 60 calories per egg. That's it.
Yep, and it depends on the size of egg you get. Eggs can have anywhere from 50 calories up to close to 90 because there are variances in the size of eggs. But the size he has, which I believe, are those medium or large? They are large. So you have a large egg and you have 60 calories. Another thing to keep in mind, like you said, that's where the vitamins are. The vitamins that you see on there, that's going to be in the yolk. So that's why it is actually good to eat the yolks of the eggs. Now, if you're making a 6-egg omelet, which I don't recommend eating that many eggs, but then of course you may want to cut back on some of the yolks. But if you're only having 2 eggs, the yolks are fine. Look at that, 60 calories an egg. Also keep in mind when you're cooking like this, that you have to make sure that you have to make sure that when you eat, I would say give yourself enough time to enjoy your meal, because you went through all this trouble cooking. You don't want to sit there and stuff your face so fast. You want to be able to enjoy it just for a second, because this is what's going to give you your energy for the rest of the day. And also, you put so much time into it, you don't want to just throw it down your throat quickly.
Well, and the preparation time isn't very long. I mean, I'm serious. I can do this. Well, you saw me make breakfast. I made breakfast in 15 minutes or less. Then I can spend 15, 20 minutes eating my breakfast. I turn my phone on and listen to my music while I eat my breakfast in my office. So we're getting ready to make lunch now. For lunch, I've used a yellow bell pepper, or I guess it's an orange bell pepper.
All right, colorblind.
Colorblind, yeah. Some onions again, and some jalapenos. Put a little Pam in there. And again, it's all to your liking. For me, I am volumizing my lunch again with my vegetables. And so I'm going to cook these and saute them in a layer of Pam. And so, but let's go over breakfast again. I used green bell pepper, onion. I took about a half of an onion and diced it up. I used a small bowl of mushrooms, a quarter of a jalapeno, and 2 eggs. Now, if you wanted to add a little cheese to it, I recommend the fat-free mozzarella. Only 45 calories for a quarter of a cup. You won't really use a quarter of a cup, so you could probably add 20 calories of cheese, and your breakfast would be at 260 calories, and you'd have cheese, which is sometimes what I like. Also, you may want to talk about your coffee. Now, I use the sugar-free Torani syrups. This one's hazelnut. My favorite is the French vanilla or the sugar cookie, but the sugar-frees have no calories in them. I use a non-dairy creamer that has 10 calories, the dry powder, that has 10 calories per teaspoon, so my coffee is 21 calories, because there's 1 calorie in coffee. We have found out.
Yeah, we looked that up, 1 calorie.
Now, Brian does his a little bit differently.
Yeah, now, one thing I want to say when it comes to eating, it is very important to make sure you're not putting too much, let's say, fat in your diet and too many calories in your diet. But keep in mind what you eat is very important. For instance, I do not like margarine whatsoever. I don't believe it's nearly as healthy as eating, let's say, real butter. I keep real butter at home, and something I do differently, and you can look some of this stuff up online, but I put now when I say a pat, I'm talking a thin pat of real grass-fed butter in my coffee and 2 packets of stevia. That happens to be what I like, and then I mix that up, and I think it's fantastic. I never thought I would eat something or drink coffee that way, but I'm not saying you need to like that. I'm just saying that's what I do, and I find it very good.
Now, you saw me add some more Pam. The reason for that is I'm getting ready to add my turkey. Now, my turkey has moisture in it, but initially it would stick to the bottom, so I just layered the bottom. That is 6 ounces of extra lean turkey, not just ground turkey, not just lean ground turkey, but extra lean turkey. There are only 140 calories in 4 ounces of extra lean turkey. Just to tell you the difference, if you were to get just regular turkey, there's 240 calories in regular turkey. So I'm saving myself almost 100 calories by getting the extra lean, and it tastes good. Now I'm chopping it up, and I've got 6 ounces in here, so I've got 210 calories worth of turkey in here. So I chop it up for just a minute. the jalapeno again gets me.
And why? And just so you know, people out there know why extra lean ground turkey has fewer calories for the same amount of volume that lean ground turkey or just regular ground turkey has, is because per gram fat has almost twice as, or actually more than twice as many calories as either proteins or carbohydrates. So when you have, if you have, let's say an ounce, or yeah, if you have an ounce of fat in there, that fat's going to end up making, that 1 ounce is going to add what equals 2 ounces of beef in the same, or I should say of meat in the same calories.
Now, I've also got a handful of mushrooms, because again, I'm going to add my mushrooms. Now I'm going to kind of break those up before I put them in, so I don't have to break them up with my spoon, because mushrooms really add a lot of volume to your food. As you saw, I used black pepper, I used onion and garlic. And what we're going to have today for lunch is we're going to have a hamburger, but made with extra lean turkey. You can feel free to substitute any of these items, of course, but I'm going to volumize my hamburger. You could do it in a form of a patty and infuse all the vegetables, but I like making them ground because rather than using bread, I'm going to use lettuce as my bread. And what I have found is I use 2 different types of lettuces to make a sandwich out of, because I find that it holds better. And the lettuce I'm going to be using is a romaine lettuce and a green leafy lettuce. Here, I'll show you in just a second. Full of vitamins and I don't count them as calories.
No.
It's not worth it.
One entire package here. You'll see this package of lettuce. One entire package has 30 calories. That's if you ate the whole thing. So when you have 1 or 2 leaves, you're really having next to no calories, maybe 1 or 2.
All right, so we've got our ground meat, and we're going to take this off and show you. We've got our ground meat in there. We've got our bell peppers, our mushrooms, our onions. We've added our spices. We're going to keep cooking that for a minute because we're now going to add the top secret flavor. Guess what I'm getting ready to add? I'm getting ready to add a tablespoon of A1 sauce. And that way I get the feeling of a hamburger, the flavor of a hamburger, and I add a lot of flavor to my meat. 1 tablespoon of A1, 15 calories is all it is. So there's my 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to actually use my my measuring spoon to mix it up so that I get
more of the sauce in
all my sauce. I don't want to get ripped off. I like to eat. That's why I volumize my food. So I'm going to mix this all up very, very nicely.
Something else that people should know, and you remember this when you first started eating this way, you were having trouble getting all your food in because you were getting so full.
Yes.
When you're not eating tons of sugar and carbohydrates, you're eating more protein and vegetables and good natural food. Your body feels fuller.
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot less food to give you that same full sensation as it does if you're eating a bunch of processed foods.
So this is the green leaf lettuce that I use, and you're going to see it's a very broad leaf like that, very sturdy. Would you have another plate, please, Brian?
Absolutely.
Then I use green leaf romaine, and it's already been pre-washed. This, of course, is a more narrow, also strong, very green leaf. I do this with them. I put them together like that to give myself a better base. Our meat is cooked. Yes, sir, you heard me right. We're already done cooking lunch. Now, calorie count for lunch. We have 6 ounces of extra lean turkey at 210 calories. We have the 15 calories of the A1 sauce. So now we're at 225 calories. I've already told you I don't count the vegetables. And so now I'm going to make myself my hamburger. I'm just going to pour my meat inside my lettuce. Now I can do one of 2 things with this. I can wrap it up, or I can take 2 more leaves and I can put it on top and make a sandwich out of it.
That food that he made there would end up making about 3 of these burgers that he has.
So here's what I want to show you. That is what it looks like. I can have 3 of these. That's right, I said 3 of them. And right there, that's just about 2 ounces of meat, but it looks like it's so much more because I volumized it. I added all the vegetables, the mushrooms, the bell peppers, and then I can curl that up and have a bite. And again, if I want to add a few more calories, I can just simply throw some cheese on it. But I add it up. My lettuce is nice and sturdy. And